Hi everybody, welcome to Fab Fit Friday and part 2 of the Raglan Sleeve sew along. I'm really excited about this. I was playing with creating a sort of a tank top version of the Raglan Sleeve, so that's the first thing I'm going to show you guys how to do with this pattern. And hey Sally, happy Friday. So in order to create a tank top version of the Raglan Sleeve, you have to finish the bottom of the armhole and neckline before you put the sleeve on, because in this case I lined it. So I'm trying this version. I'm going to share it with you in a minute. And actually I already came up with an improvement. I did one sleeve to test the way I wanted to do it, and I've already come up with another way that I want to sew it. So I'm going to show you what's happening here, me and Sally. All right, so let me just switch my view. Okay, so what I have here is I have the front and back neckline are finished with a strip of knit, and what I did was I serged it on, turned it to the inside, and then I top stitched it in place, and then I trimmed it. Okay, and I kind of did this in a, I don't want to say a hurry, but I mean I probably could have done a little bit neater of a job of trimming. Hi Queenie, welcome. I'm hot. I don't have air conditioning in my studio, and I'm very warm, so that's how I'm doing, but I'm not going to complain because I love summer and I have a pool in my backyard, so I'm clearly not going to complain. What we're doing today is I'm showing you how to make a tank top version of the Raglan Sleeve top here. And as I was saying, we have to finish the neckline, front and back necklines first. I also finished the base of the armhole underneath where this little strappy sleeve attaches. Okay, so here's what the back looks like. All right, and this little white that you see here is Wonder Tape, and that will actually disappear when it goes in the wash. But I'll just trim this little bit here so you can see. Okay. All right, so see, that's what the back looks like. And I used a contrasting thread to sort of top stitch the top and bottom of the sleeve, just so you could see the detail. But I think if I was doing that for real, I would make my thread match, maybe, so it wasn't so noticeable. But this is what we're doing today, and you can see I've done half. Now, when I made the first sleeve, let me just open it like this so you can see. So as you probably are aware, the sleeve on a raglan is created, the neckline is created by the back neckline, the front neckline, and then over the shoulder is the top of the sleeve really contributes to the neckline of a raglan sleeve. That's why I'm calling this a tank top version. And good news, anyone having trouble with their sleeve not fitting, there's no way this isn't going to fit you, because it's just like a little strappy thing that's going to go on over your shoulder. Hi Karen, hi Netwear. Hi Diane. Diane says, hi Jen, I had to lengthen my center back to the waist seam 2.5 inches. I'm a little nervous, but all set to cut out. And so this Deadstock Eileen Fisher Tencel knit is amazing. It is amazing, isn't it nice? Diane got the same fabric as me. Hi Diane Bacon. Oh, we have Diane Fetters and Diane Bacon. Welcome, ladies. You know, Diane, you could make it out of something else that's not so expensive for your first shot if you want to test it before you cut it out. if you want to. That's up to you. Hi, Andrea. Okay, so here is what my little sleeve looks like and my back and front neckline. So what I've already realized here is, I'm going to fold it back up. Like I said, I was sort of playing with the process of constructing this before today's fit tip. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to top stitch my seam allowances on this so they stay down. Okay, so I'm going to be top stitching those down here and also in the back. But the other thing is, I realized that because I finished these armholes separately now, which again, I guess that's not really wrong. I don't like the fact that now when I sew my my side seam, I'm going to have this bulk here, you know, of this seam. So let me just zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this now, because I finished these edges first, I'm going to have this bulkiness here, which I'm not in love with. So just to finish it though, I'm going to take a piece of Wonder Tape and I'm going to stick those edges evenly together. So I'm going to put the Wonder Tape on one side. Oops, wait a minute, not like that. Like this. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this so it's even. And then I'm going to stick my other end to it. I kind of goobered up this Wonder Tape here. I think it'll be okay. I just need to stick those together like this so they stay even when I sew them. Okay. And what I'm going to do, okay, just to sort of finish here, let me just serge this. So I'm going to finish this side seam because then I'm going to show you how we're going to do the opposite armhole a little bit differently. So let me just sew my side seams here. Well, that's not going. You know what? I'm going to go from the bottom up. I think it's just too bulky right there. Let me start at the hem. So I'm just going to switch the direction I'm sewing this side seam here. See, another reason not to finish the front and back armhole first. So you're not going to do it the way I did it here. Alright, so let me just sew this together. Okay, so I'm just sewing my side seam of the side that I already put that little sleeve on. Alright, that worked out better. Okay, so see this, everything about this is yucky. Well, I've got my goobery Wonder Tape, and then it doesn't match 100% fabulous. And I've got all this bulk here. Okay, so I am not in love with this. So we're not going to do it that way. So let's now look at what we have. I'll just put this down here, hold on. I mean, it's under the arm, so no one's going to really see it, but I think it'll be much nicer to do it a little bit of a different way. So let me just make this a little bit bigger now. Sandy Harris, hi, I'm in the hospital and I might lose my left hand. Not totally, but I'm wondering if you guys think I'll be able to sew with my right hand only. Oh my goodness, Sandy. First of all, I'm sorry to hear that. And second of all, I want to say, if there's a will, there's a way. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to send you all the best. Okay. Andrea says, Jen, is the big sewing bee bra worth it to buy? This is the first bra, if this is the first bra you've ever made. I got to watch, okay, so I taught at the Great Bra Sewing Bee last year, but it was a pre-recorded class, and I did actually watch some of the other classes. I think they have a really talented lineup of instructors. If you are really like gung-ho about doing a bra, I recommend it. I mean, I do think that they have a lot of talented instructors, so you'll learn a lot, and then maybe you'll make more than one bra. That's what I'm going to say about that. Claudia says, hi Jen, I have mine cut out in an expensive fabric I bought at a local fabric store. In an inexpensive. So Claudia has not expensive fabric. That's excellent. I always recommend making your first version out of something not super expensive in case something happens. But here I am working out the problems for us. When I go off and do these techniques myself, I'm dreaming up what I want, and then I have to come up with the instructions as well, because there aren't instructions for something if you're making it up as you go. So let me just look at the armhole like this. Okay, so see, that's what it looks like. It's not terrible the way I did it. There's the seam. I'm going to obviously tack that down, and this little white goober here will go away. This is the Wonder Tape that's sticking out. So if I pull that out of the way, so you can see it's really not that bad. But I'm going to show you a better way to do it. All right. So what I'm going to do this time is, before we attach or finish anything on this opposite armhole, okay, because this is not even started, so let me put it this way over here. All right, so here's my neckline, okay, and here is my sleeve. So I'm going to show you how I finish this sleeve. Okay, so here's my sleeve. I cut out two because we're going to sew the top and bottom edge to finish those. So that's going to be the first step to the sleeve. But then on top of it, I am not going to finish the front and back separate. I'm going to actually sew the side seams first. Oh. Andrea says, Sandy, I have taught one-handed people to sew with success. There is information out there for you, and it will be easier to learn because you already know how to sew. Oh, thank you for that, Andrea. Sandy, we are all pulling for you. Thank you for sharing in our group, and we will do anything we can do to help you as well. I know I will. So thank you for sharing that. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do now is, let me just put my right sides together. Okay, so this is my opposite side seam. I'm going to actually sew that first. All right, so I'm just going to clip it at the top. And this way I can finish the base of the armhole going right over the side seam and not have bulk there. So I think that's going to be a better option. So I'm just pinning the top and bottom of it, and I'm going to drag my serger back over here. Let me just make it a little less bright. Oops. That's probably better. Okay. Oh, and by the way, Andrea, they probably didn't ask me to teach a second year in a row because I only knew that one thing. And some of the people they have teaching some of the knitwear specialize in knitwear, like Astro Sport. Kim, her name is Kim. She's doing a activewear, like a yoga pants kind of class, and she does an amazing job with her outfits. Like, she's much more advanced than me in my very simple yoga pants. So I think I think there are a lot of good teachers. Oh, Sandy says, thank you so much for your wonderful encouragement. Well, you are in my prayers, Sandy. Okay. Oh, and just, can I let you guys know, I finally started a new Facebook group, and I will put a link to it if I haven't already at the bottom of this video. I switched my most recent videos to that Facebook link, so if you want to join me on Facebook in a closed group just for sewers, I did set that up. And it's a place for you to share with me in addition to me sharing with you. So if you have questions, or you want to share your progress pictures, or whatever it is you want to share, you're welcome to join my Facebook group. And we can get together and interact with each other there instead of it being more one-sided like it is here. The other thing is, it's called J Stern Designs Fit, Sew, Embroider, which kind of encompasses everything I want to be doing. All right, so let me just sew this side seam here. So this is easy. I'm just sewing the side seam. Okay, now that the side seam is sewed, we'll be able to work on this armhole, I think, in a better way. All right, so let's look at it from the front now. All right, so, and also I want you guys to be aware of the fact that if you don't love the idea of this little sleeve, next week I'm going to show how to do it with just a regular short sleeve, kind of like the cap sleeve I put on the T at the end. So I am going to show a short sleeve that's a full featured, that will go, have a little underarm seam as well. So if you're not loving this, please wait for next week before you cut out your pieces. Or, I mean, you can cut out your pieces, but I'm going to show how to do a regular sleeve next week. Oh, yay. Andrea says, Facebook was a wonderful platform when it worked. See you there. Yay. Okay, but I am going to still do my live streams on YouTube, but I think I can also share them simultaneously with the group. So that's my thought process on that so far. All right, so here is my armhole. I'm going to go like this so you can kind of see it. Okay, this is the back neckline. This is the front neckline. And this is my sleeve. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I am going to mark how far down this little cap sleeve goes. Oh, hi Jerry. Uh-oh. Jerry broke her sewing machine. Oh good, I'm glad it's coming back from the repair shop soon. Sorry about that, Jerry. I hate it when my sewing machine is broken. All right, so I'm going to cut my binding off the end of my neckline in the back so it's even. And then what I'm going to do is I am just going to mark here. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that yet. Let me do one more thing. I'm sorry. Before we mark the position of the armhole, I'm going to finish the sleeve first. Okay, wait. So Diane says, if we're doing the short cap sleeve, will we sew up at the outline in the instructions? Can we just sew up to the outline in the instructions? Yeah, the only difference, Diane, between the original one Well, first of all, Diane, are you talking about this little baby sleeve or an actual cap sleeve? Let me know. And while you're letting me know, I'm just going to sew the top and bottom edge of these two pieces of fabric together. So basically I'm making a lined sleeve. Okay, let me just do this here. All right. Okay, move this out of the way now. All right, so now I can get back to what I was going to show you. Oh, Netwear says this dress would make a great dress too. Well, guess what, Netwear? You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about making this into a dress with a kangaroo pocket in the front. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about for a dress for the Raglan Sleeve. All right, so here we have the back neckline is right here. Let me just do it like this. So this is the back neckline right here. This is my back armhole right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sleeve and I'm going to turn it right side out. Okay, so see, now you can see I have finished the top and bottom edge. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the top part and I'm just going to line it up with the neckline edge. Like I want that to be kind of exact. So maybe I'll even do it this way. I'll pin it together here so they match exactly. Okay, and then what I want to do is I kind of want to mark along this back neckline where the base of the cap is. Alright, so you can see it's like right here. Like I'm not stretching it to fit, I'm just putting it on so it matches. So I'm going to take a piece of chalk, and I'm just going to mark that area. Okay, so that's how I know that I have to finish this part with the binding. Oh, so Diane's making the baby sleeve. All right, so Diane, I would follow the instructions for these sleeves first, because this kind of screws up the whole order of things because you have to finish the neckline edge separately, the front and back neckline edge separately, sew your side seams, and then finish the base of the armhole first. So it is a little bit potchkeyed up compared to the instructions in the pattern. Hi, Chelvy Braggs. Happy Friday from Texas, from Dallas. Welcome. All right, so I've measured my back sleeve. Now I'm going to flip it around and measure my front sleeve. And again, I'm going to trim my little binding here to match. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to unpin it from the back and I'm going to get it on the front now. Okay, so I'm going to take my front edge and I'm just going to pin it together. Now another option for this sleeve, if you didn't want to line this little baby sleeve, you could sew it on one single piece and then finish the entire base of the armhole and edge of the baby sleeve all with a piece of knit strip. And then you could finish the neckline all in one as well. So I mean, you don't have to do it this way. I'm just trying something different for fun. All right, so I'm just going to lay this now so I could measure where the front ends up. So I'm going to say it ends up approximately right here. Okay, so now I know, I'm going to put my sleeve aside. So now I know I need a piece of knit that's long enough to finish the base of the armhole from my two chalk marks. So I have a chalk mark here, see? So I'm going to finish all of this now. And see, now I'm going to be going right through that side seam, so I won't have the bulk like I have on the other side. So I have a piece of knit strip right here. I cut a 2-inch piece just to make it easy to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my serger back one more time. And I'm going to start serging this along the back like this. And if it extends a little bit, you know, I'm going to cover that mark just in case I need a little bit of extra. So I'm just going to put my knit strip right here. And then I'm going to lift my presser foot. I'm going to slide it under there so I can just start serging it together. Like this. Okay, so I am going to start serging. Now, I'm not super worried about pulling this knit strip very much or stretching it very much as I sew, because generally when you sew, when you finish a whole armhole, really under the armhole does not gape like the base of your armhole. So I'm almost doing it 1-to-1. I might stretch it a little bit. I'm keeping this neutral, and you know, I might stretch this under part just a little bit, but barely at all. They're plugged in the back over there. All right, and then I can see where my mark is in the front. So I'm just going to trim it so it's just past the mark. All right, so see, there's my mark. So I'm just going to go a little bit farther than the mark. And then once I finish sewing, I'm going to lift up, push everything away from the needles, and then chain off. So see, then I just stopped right there, so I'm not veering off the edge. Okay, so now I'm going to do a few steps on the sewing machine now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this knit strip that I sewed onto the base of my armhole, and I'm going to wrap it around like this. So you kind of want it firmly wrapped around so it makes this nice little thing.
What's the matter?
What's the matter?
You didn't disconnect my headphones from your computer.
Oh. I have to disconnect my headphones from my computer. I'm sorry, I have to disconnect my daughter's headphones so she can listen. Hold on. So it's Bluetooth. I'm sorry. She has these really nice Bose speakers, and I disconnect. All right. Sorry. So she needs to be able to listen to herself, not me in her headphones. I'm sorry. All right. So, okay. Here we are. I'm just going to fold it over. So see, here's the back side of the strip. I'm just wrapping it right around the edge of the armhole here. And because we serged it on, that serged stitch is going to give you a nice, regular... What's the matter now? It's not working?
No, because you somehow made your computer the default on my headphones.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to disconnect Anna's headphones from my computer completely. I'm removing this device. I removed it. Sorry. I'm sorry. When I'm embroidering with my big machine, I can't hear anything, so I wear my daughter's Bose noise-canceling headphones. All right. So now I'm going to wrap it around like this. Okay. And now we're going to do a few steps on the sewing machine. Okay, so this is how the base of the armhole looks. I'm going to get my sewing machine. Okay. All right, now I may have showed you this Ceraflex thread in the past. Metler makes a stretchy thread. I have it in my machine. I just want to show you here. So I'm going to pull it for you. So any of you who haven't seen this already, look how nice this stretches. Okay, so this is Ceraflex thread. I'm using it to sew around these edges because it's stretchy. So I'm going to do a couple different things on the sewing machine. The first thing I'm going to do is I have my, this is actually my blind hem foot, but it has a guide there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fabric underneath my presser foot so that the guide is in the ditch between the binding and the actual tee, or garment fabric. I'm just going to stick it under there, and I'm going to put the guide right in that little divot. So I think you can see that. Let me just make it a little bigger. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew this down in place. Okay, so I'm not sewing on the binding itself, I'm sewing on the shirt fabric. So it'll make it pretty invisible. Oops. Oh. I think I forgot to move my needle over, so now I am on my binding a little bit. I'm sorry. Move it over a little bit. Okay. All right. All right, so you'll see my boo-boo that I made. If you turn your machine on and off, remember to reset the settings for it. So I had this set up for the right width, and I forgot because I turned it off. I now sewed on my binding a little bit, see? So I may fix that, we'll see. But see, with it in the right spot, you can see it just very easily. Stitches in the right spot. So see, here's after I fixed the adjustment, see how nice that looks? But over here where I forgot, I'm actually on my binding a little bit. So I'll see how that looks when I'm wearing it, and maybe I'll pick that out, we'll see. All right, so then the other thing I'm going to do while I have the sewing machine here is I am going to stitch along my top and bottom edge of my little cap sleeve here. And the idea is you want the seam to be right in the center. So as I'm stitching it, I'm kind of finger pressing it into position here. Okay, and I'm just going to stitch right along each edge. That just gets it to lay nice. I'm using the tail to kind of help hold it. Okay, so there's one end. So see, that kind of just makes a nice finish. And because I have that Ceraflex thread in there, it's very stretchy. So I'm just going to do the same thing to the bottom edge. I mean, the nice thing about the facing is now both the neckline edge and the hem edge of the sleeve is finished. so there is the bottom edge of my sleeve. Okay, so now my sleeve is all sewn. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm all done with my sewing machine for now, so I'm going to just move that out of the way. Okay, so the next step is we are going to get our base of our armhole here, and I'm going to trim this close to the edge. And I may have mentioned this before, I really like using my large scissors for this. I find they work kind of like those duckbill scissors because it's got a big blade. So I find that I don't make holes in the shirt fabric, and I can trim my binding fabric pretty easily here. So I'm just trimming away the binding here. I'm trying to be sort of quick so I don't spend a lot of time on it, but you want to just kind of make it as neat, you know, pretty neat looking. Might have to go back in and trim some of the longer parts. Okay, so that'll suffice for now. So now my neck, my bottom of my armhole is now finished, see? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to pin my sleeve to my front and back armhole here. So let me just get it so it's all together here. So here's my armhole. Okay, so I'm going to trim this like this. I'm going to trim this tail off. Okay, and I'm going to use little pieces of Wonder Tape to get the start and stop perfect. So I'm going to put a piece of Wonder Tape at the top and bottom of each seam. And it doesn't need to be a lot, just like literally a 1/4 inch piece. So for example, this one's going to go right here. This is the neckline edge. I'm just going to put that Wonder Tape right there. Peel the paper away. And then I'm going to get, this is the back, so I'm going to get the longer back edge of the sleeve, right sides together with it. So I'm just going to line that right up like that. Okay, I'm going to trim this off. Oops. And then I'm going to get my second piece of Wonder Tape, and I'm going to put it at the base of, you know, down at the bottom here, because the sleeve is going to overlap the end of the knit. That's why I didn't worry about finishing it. So as I put this in position, what's going to happen is you're going to have this little point that sticks up. Can you see that? That's supposed to stick up. You're going to cut that off. But then look what happens when it's finished. After I sew it down, it will match up, I believe. Wait a minute. I think it needs to be like, so when I turn it, it will match like that. Okay, so I'm gonna just stick one clip in the middle to hold it, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and do the front as well. So here's the right side of my front armhole. okay, right here. So this has to come around, and it actually needs to go like this. So here's the right side of my sleeve. Here's the right side of this. It's going to go together like that. Okay, so let me just get my Wonder Tape. Alright, so I'm excited to hurry up and finish this so I can show you how it fits. I'll model it for you so you can see how this little sleeve looks. Alright, so I'm just going to put a piece of Wonder Tape here on the right side. And then I'm going to put the right side together with the front armhole. And again, I'm going to put a second little piece of Wonder Tape. Oops. Oh, that one got wrecked. Let me get another one. I think everything is just melting in this room, including me. Alright, so this is going to go right here on the right side. Okay. So I'm going to put right sides together here. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so see how that matches nicely. And I'll just put one clip in the middle there. So because remember I have 3 layers because I have the lined sleeve and I have the shirt. So I'm just going to put one Wonder Clip here, and then I'm going to bring my serger back. If any of you are in the same situation with me where you have to keep unplugging and plugging in your equipment because you have to switch it, I found that it's easier to keep the machines plugged in at the socket that's attached to the actual machine, and then I just unplug it from the wall because I have very tight connections, you know, for the plug in my serger and in my sewing machine, and I felt like I was yanking them in and out and I didn't want to damage that, so I leave my power cord attached and I just unplug them from the outlet. Alright. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start at the neckline edge, and remember it's Wonder Taped, so it should be nice. And then I'm going to just line up all my fabrics here, and I'm going to serge that. Okay, and I'm just going to serge right down the armhole. All the way to the opposite end here. Remember you have to cut that little triangle off. Hi Anne, welcome. Now as soon as I get that tail trimmed, I'm going to put my knife down because I don't want to cut anything else. And I'm just going to keep serging until I get to the end of that. Then I'm going to push it off and chain off. So see, I want it to stop right at the end of that. So when I turn it, oh, that shows. All right, that's not, all right, I'm gonna have to figure that out. That's not, still not working the way I wanted. Let me do the other side here. Hold on. All right, so let me just do this short front piece here. Okay. Clip that off, put my knife down. Okay. All right. Oops. All right, let's take a look at this. Hi PG. Gary says, where did you start the armhole? Where did I start? Well, I started at the neckline and I went down. There are no holes because they're just straight edges. So let's look at this. Let me just look at this here. All right, so here's what the front looks like. Here's what the back looks like. I'm having this. Okay, so I know what my problem is. Okay, so the finished edge, I can see what I'm doing wrong now that I did it. All right, so this is not matching. So you can see my little surged edge right here. And the reason why is this finished edge needs to be even with this folded edge. And it wasn't. So I really needed to push this out farther. So that's why that's showing. So I'm going to have to take that out and fix that. But my neckline matches. Oh, look here, I made a boo-boo. All right, so here I didn't catch everything. So I'm going to take this out. And I'm going to pick apart my seam here. All right, that's all jumbled up here. I'm not going to do my little pull the thread trick because it's all potchkeyed up. Hold on. All right, so this here has a little bit of an issue. So if I pick out all of these threads at the beginning, okay, now that I have them picked out thus far, I can find them over here and I can untangle them. Okay, and then once they're untangled, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it halfway. I only need to take out half of it to fix it. So I'm gonna make a break in my stitching here. You guys see what I'm doing? Should be a little bit lighter. Okay. So I'm gonna make a break, meaning I'm gonna completely separate the two sides of the seam by stitching through. I'm clipping through so it's not connected. Okay, so I have a complete break between the upper and lower, see? So now what I can do is I can pull my needle threads. So I think this shorty is a needle thread, and it comes right out. So I can fix it. Alright, so I got that one needle out. Now, see, if you tease them apart, you can see which one the needle is, because the needle is a very short tail compared to the looper. So I can tell that this little shorty right here is my needle, and when I pull it, see, everything just falls out. So then I can go back and fix this little boo-boo here that I made. Okay. Alright, so let me just fix that. I'm re-sticking it. My two neckline edges, I want those to be even. So I'm making sure those are even, see? Alright, so let me just re-stitch this part, and then I just want to try it on to see how these sleeves look. But basically, I'm sewing from, you know, from the neckline edge down to the where it meets the armhole. Okay. Oh, actually, all right. So see, since I'm taking it apart, I might as well just keep going, because let me show you what's happening down here. All right. I don't want you guys to have this same problem. Let me just take this out down here. I'm just gonna get rid of all of this stitching here and just show you how to do it like correctly. Using Wonder Tape is not your friend if you have to take it out. So it's all stuck together in here. Alright. Alright, so now that I got past there, I should be able to pull my needle threads. There's a needle thread right here. So see, if I pull this, it'll come right out. See? Alright, and then let me just fix this right. So I just need my other light thread here, my other little needle thread. So see, this is an example of sometimes even when I do stuff, it doesn't come out right. Alright, so let me just take this out here. Okay, so let's re-look at what's happening down at the bottom. In order for the edge of this binding to match up with the edge of the sleeve, those have to be meeting, meaning the edge of here has to meet with the edge of there, so when you turn it, it'll match like that. Okay, so that's what I was kind of screwing up there. I have to get this edge to match that edge. And then when it's sewn, it should match. So let me just push that out a little bit farther. I'll put a clip there. Alright, so let's try serging this one more time. So I'm going to start up at the neck. Gary, I'm starting up. Oh, I bought an Evolution serger and I want to start making my own t-shirts. I've been following you. That's wonderful. Well, keep me posted if you need more help. This hasn't been the most straightforward tutorial because I screwed it up, so I'm just willing, I just put it out there for you that sometimes I make boo-boos too. Alright, so I'm gonna start serging this. I want to make sure I catch everything this time. Now when I get to the bottom, I want to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to cut this tail off right here. And then after I cut the tail off, I'm going to put my knife down. And I'm just going to serge a little bit farther till I get to that binding. And then I'm going to push it off. I lifted my presser foot and pushed it off, and I'm going to chain off. Alright, so I almost got it perfect this time. Okay, so that's almost perfect. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to try this on to see how this looks. Because after all this work, if it looks yucky, then I'm going to be sad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut all my tails off, just so they're not hanging all over the place. And I'm going to just duck off camera to try it on, and I'll give you the big reveal the same time I reveal it to myself. Alright, so here is what it looks like flat. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duck off camera and try it on. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got it on. So let's see how it looks. I'm gonna, let me just get my big view here. Oops. Okay. Oop. All right. So let's see. All right, so here. All right, well, I don't love that. I'm wondering if I needed to pull that knit a little bit tighter to finish that. I'm not in love with the way that's looking. It's almost like it's, yeah, I don't know if I love these sleeves, guys. I'm going to be completely honest with you. In my head, oops, in my head, this was going to be, yeah, I don't like that. This, and I think to fix it, I maybe have to sew it a little bit deeper to pick that up. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so I think I have to come in deeper here to close that hole up a little bit to fit that. So with this fabric, oops, all right. All right, so yeah, do not like that. And I think it's just too long there. Oops. Oops, let me see. Yeah, I think I'm going to sew a little bit deeper this seam here to close that up a little bit. All right, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play with this and come up with my final answer in terms of fixing this. Because now it's more of a strap versus a sleeve, I think it's too long right here. So I think I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to sew it a little bit deeper, but I have to take apart the seam and slide it down. So I'm going to do that, and then I will take clear pictures and I will share it in the community page, you know, once I'm done. But I do think this has potential. I mean, for those of you looking at this and thinking, oh, do I want to try this? Like Diane, for example, you have the same fabric as me. Oops, wait. The good news is if you do this and you don't like this little sleeve, you're only wasting a tiny bit of fabric. But I do want to play with, you know, picking it up a little bit. Because like if I'm just going to pin it with some Wonder Clips here. And just so you know, oh, the chat disconnected. It's reconnected now. So if anybody was trying to say something, I couldn't see. Oh, Gary wants to know that if it will lay flat once you press the seams. Okay, so my issue isn't having it lay flat. My issue is I feel like it's just too long right here, like right here. I feel like I need to pick this up a little bit, just like a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna fix. That's what I'm gonna fix. But in the big scheme of things, I think it will be pretty once I figure that out. So that's, but you can see it's almost like it's a little bit too big in my shoulders. And I think if I shorten it here, it'll be okay. So that's what I'm going to do to try to fix this. Why don't I just try to fix it right now? Anyone who wants to watch me fix it, you can see the rest of it, though, fits pretty nicely. So, you know, the rest of it I'm happy with. You know, it's just getting this little bit right here to work. So let me just put on my other shirt for a second. All right, and then Netwear says, Jen, what about doing the neck binding in one piece and only matching at one seam at the back? No, well, you know what? That's another suggestion. So let's look at this together here. Let me switch back to this. All right, so here's what I think is happening. I think in the front, I need to make this a little bit shorter here. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to sew this whole seam a little bit deeper because I just think the whole thing is just too big. And this fabric has, you know, stretch in both directions. So this is where I need to shorten it. Oh, Claudia wants to know if shortening and fitting the underarm band would fix that. It might draw it up, but like I really feel like I don't want this part of my armhole gathered up and pulling up into my armpit. It's almost like I just need to, I need to shorten this. I think this is what's too long. I don't think this armhole is bad. I think that, you know, this from here to here is too long on me. So that's what I'm going to change. Because I typically, you know, I've made this shirt so many times. I don't think it's the actual armhole. I think it's more of a issue with, because now this is not a sleeve, it's more of a strap, I have to shorten it. So that's what I'm going to do. So anyone who wants to watch me shorten, you can. If you have to take off, I understand too. But next week I will have a full sleeve option to show you. And then I'll also be showing you the kangaroo pocket next week. So first I wanted to try this. And you know, sometimes you try stuff and it doesn't come out, so I apologize, this isn't a masterpiece, but I think I will definitely be able to get it to work. Alright, so again, I'm going to be pulling at my needle threads to get rid of the seam. Once I can find them. See if I can pull a needle thread here. It's so satisfying when you pull the needle thread and the whole seam comes undone. Alright, let's see. just pull this. Okay, so I'm all undone now. I think what I'm going to try is, let's look at this. Okay, so there's my armhole. I think what I'm going to do is sew it a little bit deeper. And I don't, maybe a little bit deeper at the neckline. All right, here's what I'm going to do, because if this doesn't work, I can take these sleeves completely off and, you know, try new ones. So I'm really not concerned about, you know, if I cut this off and it's wrong, oh well. Let me just use my rotary cutter. All right, I'll just use my scissors. Okay, so I'm literally just going to cut off about 1/4 inch at the neckline edge. 1/4 inch all the way down. And then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to kind of get rid of maybe that much. All right, so I'm going to trim that much off. Okay, now I'm going to put it back on and let's see how that looks. Okay, so this is how much I trimmed. Oh, Gary says I could practice with wash away thread. I could just sew the whole thing together with wash away thread, and then if I don't like it, I could put it in the wash. All right, so I'm gonna put this back together now. So I'm gonna put the neckline edges back together. Oh, and then I'm gonna have to put this back together. I'm gonna have to stretch it to fit a little bit now because that edge is a little bit shorter, but it'll be okay. Now let's just see if this looks better. I'm just interested to see if this will fix the problem. Cutting off that little triangle here, putting my blade down, finishing to the bottom, and then pushing it off. All right, I'm going to try this on again and see if that fixes my issue. So when I put it on, it's going to be this side. So let me try it on and we'll see if this looks better now that I took them off. All right, let me see. I'm gonna get my big view here. All right, so see, yes, see how that fixed it? That looks much better. Okay, so shortening the shoulder fixed it compared, see how this one looks versus how this one looks? See the difference? Okay, so just picking this up that little bit fixed it. Okay, so maybe if you want to make yourself, baste your little baby straps or your baby sleeves on just on the sewing machine, and then you can adjust them without dealing with the serger to test and see if it's good. But I am much happier with that armhole now. See? See, that to me is good. Okay? So, yay, fixed. So I'm gonna fix the other sleeve off camera. So that's fixed my issue. Gary says, I thought it was. I don't know what that means. All right, so is everybody happy, snappy with my new shorter armhole? Okay, so really, I think at this point, you almost have to consider, if you make that little baby cap sleeve I showed how to make last week, really consider it more of a strap than a sleeve. So if you base them on first, then you can be sure they're the right length before you sew them in permanently. All right, so I'm kind of happy with this now. See, because you can see what I'm not happy with over here, and then you can see what I am happy with over here. So just shortening that fixed it, and yay. So next week, oh, the other thing too is, see how on this side that I fixed, my bra is not showing, and on this side it's still floppy. So once I fix this side, we'll be really happy, snappy. Okay, so this is the tank top version of the Raglan with one good sleeve and one bad sleeve. I'll fix the other one. Next week, I'm going to show you how to make a full sleeve, but a short sleeve. So it'll be a similar sleeve to the one I made for the tea dress that I did for the last episode of the tea sew along. So I hope you're enjoying this. I will tell you, this fabric feels so nice on. This is fabric I got at LA Finch Fabric. It's Eileen Fisher dead stock. The term dead stock means that the designer's through with it and then fabric stores can buy it and sell it. So very, very nice fabric, very soft, very comfortable, very stretchy. And I think, when I'm finished with it, I'll be happy. It doesn't cling on to me, really. So, yeah, happy snappy. All right. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Raglan Sleeve Sew Along with the boo-boo in the length of my strappy sleeve thing I have going on here. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know and I will help you. Also, if you'd like to join me in my Facebook group, I will put a link to that group right under this video as soon as I pop off. So you'll be able to easily find it. I think that's everything. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm teaching my shorts for everybody at Stitches tomorrow, and it really has been a fun class, so super excited about that. And I will see you for a Fit Tip Tuesday, and then I will see you Friday for another episode of FabFit Friday when we do more Raglan Sleeve top stuff. All right, so have a nice weekend, and I will see you guys again very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Okie doke. Bye-bye.